Feeling inspired by hosts Ron and Tyler to work on your health? The MovieBuffs Podcast is brought to you by Time to Train Fitness, your home for on-demand workouts for every level of fitness. Exercise with amazing certified instructors that want you to push through any barriers. At Time to Train Fitness, you'll find quality workouts across 6 class formats, including indoor cycling, HIIT, bar, yoga, strength training, and dance cardio. Stream brand new classes releasing every week in our 450 plus on-demand workout library. Use the link in the description to view all of the membership options and to start a free 5-day trial. Get ready to press play on your next workout.
Hey everybody, Ronjam here, and I'm excited to talk to you today about our sponsor. For any of my fellow fitness buffs out there who love to train, you also know that hard training leads to aches and pains, and that's why I love today's sponsor, Royal & Pure CBD. Their philosophy is to enhance your life with pure ingredients that you and your pet can feel good taking. Royal & Pure products combine the healing properties of hemp-derived CBD with other active botanical ingredients to enrich your daily activities and ease the aches, inflammation, and pains that come from being active, aging, or just daily life. I use their salve on all my achy spots, especially on my recovery days, and I always use their PM tincture to help me get a great night's sleep and recover to hit it hard the next day. They're offering our listeners 20% off at checkout by using code RONJAM20. So if you're interested in checking out their great products and seeing just how helpful they can be, visit royalandpure.com and use code RONJAM20 at checkout for 20% off. Okay, time for the show. I'm recording it. Hey Tyler, I'm recording this, okay? So just keep all that QAnon stuff you were saying quiet. I don't want the listeners to hear. Oh, hello everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the MovieBuffs Podcast, the strongest podcast in the world about movies. I'm your friendly neighborhood host, Ronjam, joined as always by LT Gray, who definitely thinks the earth is round. And you are in for a treat this week, as it's our first ever episode recorded entirely inside of the trunk of actor Steve Guttenberg's Prius. Now, it's a little stuffy in here, but anyway, so Tyler, how's it going today?
It's going good. I think we have a good show plan for our audience. I'm
going to stop you right there. We have a great show plan for our audience. It's that kind of attitude, Tyler, that's holding you back. You're going to stay in the middle. You aim for the middle, baby. We're shooting for the stars. We have a great episode today, and you will have to wait and see why. Tyler, go ahead and do whatever the hell you're going to talk about for.
You already sound like you're warmed up, but I'm going to get to some industry news to
okay.
further warm you up. So maybe get a little cardio action into it, especially starting with the first one that, oh boy, well, we'll see what happens when I say this to you. But so I didn't even click on the article, but I know you're an avid watcher of Just Like That. I didn't even know it was called Just Like That. And it's reported that the creator says the door is shut on a possible Kim Cattrall. I don't even know who that is. But my question Samantha. For you, my question for you, Ronald, after you watch this show.
First of all, don't say my name on the phone. Call me Ronjam.
After you watch, do you go beat yourself up in the gym for watching this mess? Or do you find yourself just beating your own cheeks after as punishment?
No, what I do is I go and watch their podcast to talk about the writing process. I really dig into one of my favorite shows on television. It's funny, this season they've been showing Samantha interact only through text message. You know, her best friend's husband dies and all this stuff.
You don't need to explain it to me. I don't want to know.
Okay, well, I'm just saying they say like, this is our best friend. Like, so they're texting the whole series. In the very last episode, one of the characters is like, oh, she lives in Paris. I'm in Paris. Do you want to meet up? And then Kim Cattrall's character goes, yeah, tomorrow. And then they just cut to like a week later. And I was like, wait, what? Like they played the whole series like it was going to lead up to them meeting up again. And they're just like, oh, they did it, but it was off screen.
I wish I had that 30 seconds back in my life. I did not want to hear that.
Because if you had that 30 seconds, you could have got to Mars.
I could have answered
30 seconds to Mars. All right, next news.
I could have segued us much smoother there, but officially, a Scream sequel, saying that one of our last episodes was on Scream. It was greenlit by Paramount and Spyglass, and the production is slated to start this summer, not next summer, this summer. So my question to you, the iron is hot right here. They're striking. Do you think the Scream franchise, it's a possible, we'll say, big enough to be something like the Fast and the Furious? Can they continue it on? Or do you think it'll get to a point that Scream 10, Scream 11, maybe you should have stopped?
I wonder if they're going to give Idris Elba superpowers in the Scream universe. Another thought that came immediately to my mind was, are they going to call it Six Cream? Another thought I was thinking of is, one of the main plot lines of this Scream movie is that fans are mad about the Stab series, which is the movie series in the movie about the events of the first movie. Doing 8 and doing a reboot that was bad. So I don't know if they're going to just eat their own tail with this, but who knows? That's my answer. Who knows? What else you got for me, Taylor?
Well, you didn't answer if you think that it's big enough to do it.
Who knows?
Okay. Well, next question to get more serious out of you, and this, which is always hard. Mm-hmm. And with this next piece, Dakota
Much
Johnson.
Like myself.
I don't even know what you're saying.
You said it's always hard, and I said much like myself.
Okay. Yeah, Dakota Johnson is set
to... You stay hard, you don't got to get hard. All right, go ahead. I'm going to cut so much of this shit today.
Dakota Johnson is set to star in Spider-Man spinoff Madam Web. Well, I got 2 questions for you now. First, can you give some background to the listeners about the storyline of this? Sounds pretty interesting from what I've heard, but what is like a good summary of it?
So traditionally, Madam Web is a spider-themed woman who wears like a weird onesie outfit and has like one long leg in her dress, and she sits on this throne with like big spider webs over it, and she lives in between universes, and often she is the catalyst for bringing together multiple Spider-Man universes. As far as I know, that version of her, that's an old lady, is been murdered or is out of canon or whatever, and there's a younger version that I'm assuming Dakota Johnson will play, because the younger version has more like powers. The other one's just a psychic who lives between dimensions. This one has like webs and super strength and all that shit. I think more than anything, it's not going to be a Madam Web in the interdimensional lady in a chair. It's going to be a way to brand one of the different Spider Women, because there already is a Jessica Drew Spider Woman coming to one of the Netflix properties. We don't know which one yet. There's Spider Gwen, who is branded, it's called Spider Gwen, but her official name is Ghost Spider. There's another Spider Woman. So I think it's just to differentiate the Spider Women characters into having their own titles. Like there's a spider person called Silk that has Spider-Man's powers, and so they need to differentiate. So I think more than a Madam Web thing, I think it's using that title to differentiate the spider characters.
That was something that I have never even thought of, and
thank you.
Yeah, that's why we asked it on the podcast, and glad you shared it with everyone. So question number 2 now.
Gotcha.
With this being a Sony property, do you think that this is a chance for them to pull in a different Spider-Man as well?
Do I think it's going to be bad? I think if they go with the interdimensional Madam Web, they're going to probably use it as ways to tie together everything and probably make it a little overly convoluted. But I think they're just looking to expand their Sony Pictures universe of Marvel characters, which is the SPUM-C, which is what they've officially branded their cinematic universes as. So I think it's just a way to have the same reason they did a Morbius movie. It's just because it's Spider-Man related, so they have the rights.
Okay. Oh, I like that you included their acronym in there.
Spunk.
Saying that probably nobody knew that and nobody cares. Well, next thing for you. So one of our favorite movies to dump on is Moonfall. And
I know what you're talking about.
Roland Emmerich, he's the director of it, and he's on the press circuit right now talking about his movie that released and nobody cared about. And so it would have been easy for me to just dunk on this Moonfall.
Maybe point out that it had a $9 million weekend on a $146 million budget.
Easy. See, those are the easy things. Easily could have done that.
We would never do that.
Nope. And we would probably all joke about how this should have went straight to DVD, or even why. Why did they give him money, the movie? With us both being fans of film, though, and I need to go back to the beginning of this because I forgot that part. He says that franchise films are ruining the industry. And this is going to go a little deep into each other, both of us, that both of us are fans. Yes. Both of us are fans of film. We like the art of making film. We like movies. And we also know a little bit about it with the kind of work that we do outside of this podcast. We do have jobs outside of this. So, honest question here. Do you at all share any type of similar resentment about franchise films?
I think he's right in that franchise films are the only thing that are getting big major releases. We talked about this when we talked about the future of filmmaking. That I kind of remember I swayed you a little bit. Like, for the most part, most dramas don't need to be on the giant screen. Sure, watching movies is always better when you have the giant screen and the incredible sound system and a reason not to get up or play on your phone. But I think for the cost benefit ratio, it's just easier to produce a $3 million movie, put it on streaming, and it adds value to your streaming service. That being said, I don't know why the hell he's mad. All he does is make big action franchise movies. He made Independence Day. So I think more than what he's saying, I think he's a little mad because Fast and Furious and Marvel and DC are kind of, they've eaten his market. There's nobody who wants an action movie who hasn't gotten everything they wanted to see in, say, Spider-Man or, freaking The Flash. Or just, there's so many other options that people aren't crawling over each other to see the moon's going to eat the earth.
Yeah, good points. All valid points. And why I asked you that question, just because I think we do enjoy film outside of action movies, and especially with movies that have come out this last year. And it's almost coincidental that the Oscar noms went out, and I feel kind of bad that I've only seen one of the Best Picture noms. But Dune. Oh,
and honestly, of the nominated pictures or the best movies of the year, whatever, most of them went to streaming, and that's how I watched them, and I enjoyed the hell out of them. So I don't think that I really missed out on the movie experience. Like, Being the Ricardo is one of the best movies I've seen in a long time as far as acting and performance and stuff. And I don't think it was hurt by going to streaming. If anything, more people saw it because that's not the kind of movie that necessarily draws a shitload of people.
100%.
So I think 100%. It goes both ways,
Yeah, for me personally, and this was actually why, and I don't know if I've said this in the podcast, that why I went back to the movies, or we went back to the movies, was that we wanted to experience an action movie in the theater. You just get a sense of just the size of it when you're watching. It was Shang-Chi. When you watch Shang-Chi and on the big screen and it's super loud, it's just another level. It's an experience. Of course, we'll watch it again after on a streaming service, but there's certain movies, and a lot of them happen to be action, that it's just it's an experience. Just the sound, the ambiance, all that stuff goes into it. And I think you 100% hit it on the head right there with some movies probably got a lot more viewership that typically wouldn't. A lot of the Best Picture noms, I know we joke about this, not many people watch them. Yeah. They're not really made for the larger audience.
Yeah, they're not made for mass consumption. They're made to spotlight a performance or a script or a director. Yeah. And a lot of times they're made specifically to kind of court awards and stuff like that. So it works better for them, like you said.
Good points, Ron. Very good points.
You could go check out some of those movies, and I'm going to get to this later. If they're shit and you want to leave, you can just stop and put on a TV show or watch a YouTube video, which is something I've done. We'll talk about that when we get to what we've been watching. Next piece of news for me?
And I know you're going to enjoy this one, and I'm sure we're going to get an insight into Ronald's deep mind here. And the funny thing is, I've actually heard him go off on this before in person while we're at the gym working out when we used to work out together. So it's going to be I think this will be very entertaining for our listeners on this one. So there was a poorly written article on MovieWeb, which was labeled "Everything We Know About Channing Tatum's Gambit Movie and Why It Didn't Happen." So I say it's a poorly written article because they literally copied the same thing 3 times and just said that how the directors all had creative differences, and they list the directors 3 different times, 3 different paragraphs. They split that in. Come on, guys. Don't just repeat the same information. Think of something new. Actually get information for your articles because it's shit.
Yeah, so, guys, don't just repeat the same information. Get something new. Actually get information for your articles because it's shit. So
my question for you, let's actually dive into what Ronald's, not what you think it is or what was actually maybe came out and what you saw on Instagram or Twitter, wherever you go on your deep hole dives into Marvel and DC and all that kind of stuff.
Lots of hole dives, yeah.
Yes. My question for you, in your fantasy world, your wish list, what would the Gambit story be?
I feel like the studios kind of overestimate Gambit's popularity. He was super cool in the 90s because he had like a sick trench coat and had his Cajun accent.
You can't wear those anymore.
Yeah, it's not as cool. I know a guy who's very upset about an episode of ours, and he definitely wears a lot of trench coats. And so that's kind of the trench coat duster Q zone that we're firing at here. But I heard Channing Tatum say that his idea for it was that instead of everybody wearing their costumes because it's utilitarian, that Gambit was kind of like a vain weirdo who did it because he thought it was super cool. So he'd wear his little sock mask and his purple tights and his brown trench coat and his fingerless gloves and his walking cane and think he was the shit. And I think that could have been interesting. Channing Tatum's is kind of like Zac Efron, where they came out and they were more like teen heartthrobby and people didn't like them. And general public, it was kind of for like, oh, that's for teenage girls and tweens, whatever. But when they started doing comedic stuff, people were like, oh shit, okay, this guy's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And when this was supposed to happen, it was right around 21 Jump Street and he had a lot of clout. And I think it would have been really cool to see him take the funny side of it. But I think I actually heard that what happened was the studio wanted to go full Deadpool because Deadpool made money and everything had to be Deadpool for like a year and a half. Remember that? Everything had to be Deadpool. And his take was a little bit more kind of down the line. Just, it was funny, but it was kind of a little more regular, funny movie. And him and the director both had never directed a movie or written a movie. So it got thrown out. That being said, I kind of don't care. I only like Gambit in the context of the 90s cartoon and in his interactions with everybody else, but he's not that interesting on his own. So that's why I think it being a comedy would have been the best bet, because for anybody who doesn't know what Gambit's powers are, they don't even make sense. I mean, none of them do, but he converts potential energy into kinetic energy. So they don't explain how he gets the potential energy into it, but he can hold a playing card and charge it with kinetic energy enough to the point where it produces the amount of impact as if he threw a grenade at you. That being said, he has to, I don't know, he's just not the coolest character. I think he's not as cool as people think he is, and that might be an unpopular opinion, and maybe one day they'll make the movie when Channing Tatum's 50, and they'll change their mind.
Oh, interesting. Very interesting. I will say that.
I talked for a long time on that. Shit.
That's why we asked. And the interesting part for me with all of this, I would have been very interested to see Gore Verbinski's version of this. That was one of the directors that they named in it. And I think I maybe heard at one point. He's most known for The Pirates, the first three. And after that, they got even worse, the movies, because it just kept trying to copy the same thing that he was doing. But I mean, if you go back and watch the first Pirates, it's a little darker. It's actually entertaining. And then it just goes off a rail. But I think that would have been the best bet for a solid movie. I think the other director was Doug Liman, the director from, what's that Tom Cruise movie where he repeats the same
Edge
day
of Tomorrow. That's a good movie, man.
That's a good movie. So the directors that were involved with it, they all seemed to drop it pretty quickly. But I just remember from the X-Men cartoon show, he would just put his hand on stuff and it would just blow up.
Yeah.
But who knows? I think you have an interesting insight to it. But that's all the news I have for today.
Well, I have some news for you, Tyler. Kenobi just got a poster. Did you see it?
Ooh, I did actually when we started the podcast.
And guess what? It's a picture of a guy in the desert. Could it be a movie about Jesus? Who knows? Next piece of news. Armor Wars is set to start filming in the fall. Are you excited? What are your thoughts on it? Do you care? Do you think they're going to have very little scenes of them in the suit or a lot?
I don't even. I was surprised actually when I saw that they were going to do this show, and that's still how I feel today. Almost like Hawkeye, but continue.
All right. And then on that same line of Marvel TV, Tim Roth has confirmed that the Abomination will become human again in She-Hulk. And like I said about the suits in Armor Wars, is this a creative decision or is it a budgetary choice?
I'm guessing a creative, but I'm going to go the opposite way. Creative, because they have all the money in the world. Disney has all the money. As we went through that list of when I forgot what the name of the skit was, but the most popular or the highest grossing films of all time, Disney owned it. So they have all the money. Don't think otherwise.
Yeah, you're right. Also, I want to get your quick take on, does it piss you off when people do that? Like, don't give away plot information. Just be like, yeah, I'm excited for you to see the show. Why do people do that? They come out and confirm, oh yeah, in this next one, my character is going to die, but it's going to be pretty cool. I think you should still check out the movie. Like, shut the hell up and just be like, yeah, I'm excited. Are you going to be back to human in this? There might be some scenes, who knows? We might do some flashbacks, but you'll have to watch it and see. It's not that hard, guys.
Yeah. I would say the good actors that are a part of any type of extended universe, they know how to answer questions and basically lie to the press.
Like fucking Andrew Garfield did for 2 years.
Yeah, Andrew Garfield. I was just watching a video, and it was somebody in. Oh, it was. Why am I dropping? What's his name? Daredevil's actor Charlie Cox.
Yeah.
He was being asked about his role in the upcoming series and different movies, and he basically just lied to the media, straight to their face. Just lie. Come on.
It's part of what they pay you for. The other thing is, I'm going to bleep out all the important information, but there's this actor Bleep from Bleep. There's been rumors that he plays Bleep in the new Bleep movie, and his fucking brother tweeted, "I just got off set at the Bleep. It's so crazy that my brother plays Beep in the Bleep."
What?
And it's like an enormous spoiler. It's a blank that no one even knows is in the blank. No, it's a character that is not even confirmed in this movie or in this or anything. And this person said, "Oh, it's so cool that this happened." It's like, what the hell, guys?
I'm gonna
off to no end.
The best example I can think of that's along those lines that will actually make sense, unlike what Ronald just said, because I don't even know what he said. But I feel like despite how much drama there is with Star Wars and Star Wars fandom, people shut the hell up when it comes to Star Wars. They don't say anything. They don't give away any spoilers. And even like when people joke about it on Twitter, it's usually just dots, or there's like at least a solid week or two before anybody says anything.
Yeah.
And I give them credit for that.
You got any trailers for us, bud?
I don't have any trailers. I didn't watch any trailers.
Well, you know what? I have a couple trailers. Tyler, did you see the trailer to Adrian Brody's weird trash man John Wick movie?
I did not.
I didn't write down what it's called, but it's Adrian Brody, and he plays a trash man who does a John Wick. So it looks grimy. Looks fun. The big trailer that I thought I think you've seen it, just forgot. But the new Lightyear trailer. Have you seen it?
I have not, which is surprising since I know that you make fun of me for being a Disney person.
Yeah, I mean, it looks pretty good. I wasn't sure about it at first, but I just in the span of this trailer, we actually get to hear Chris Evans's Buzz Lightyear voice, and it's grown on me a little bit. It's not a Woody Allen.
Tim Allen.
Cut that. It's not a Tim Allen impression, but it sounds enough like it where it does feel like the character. Like it would be odd if, say, like, I don't know, somebody like Super Mario had a voice that just sounded nothing like him. But in this case, the voice, it does fit the character, and it still sounds like Buzz, but it sounds like this Buzz, if that makes sense.
I guess so. I'm not one of those people that like were outraged that Tim Allen was not Buzz Lightyear. I'm not one of those people that you got to hold on to the same character forever. But I'm excited to see that, actually. Yeah,
and I'm happy that it like I said, I don't need it to be the same guy for voice acting, but it does need to sound like the same character, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because that's all we know of him, really. So it does stay pretty true to it. Well, if that's all the trailers we have, I think it's important we jump into our kind of special featured segment that I teased earlier. Tyler, do you want to tell everybody what our featured segment is?
So listeners, we're getting to our skit here, and we have something new and exciting. We actually have a fan from the show. He listens to our show, and I'm going to intro him in just a second. But for the skit today, we're going to have our guest going up against Ron in the Guess the Marvel Movies from Terrible Summaries. So I'm going to give the credit to this. I got it. I stole it from BuzzFeed, and I did not tell them about this for about a week because I didn't want them to look it up. And I'm hoping they don't pull it up on their phone. And that's going to be the fun of it, though. Little background to this, listeners. This is not going to include Shang-Chi if you're playing along, or Eternals. Neither of those are in this. So before we jump into the rules and jump into the game, I'm going to intro our guest. So our guest, he is 2006, 2007 UC Santa Barbara Cinemania champion. He got an A in his Film 46, which was Intro to Film Studies, and second place in Chicago's largest Harry Potter bar trivia tournament. When I read those, and even when he told me this, I thought, shit, Ron's going to lose. And he might be a ringer for us, but he's an actual medical doctor, which is not a joke. I'm not joking. He's an actual medical doctor. Aaron Rosen, thank you for being our guest and coming on to go up against Ronjam.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm proud to say that I'm an OG fan of the show. I'm glad you guys figured out how to record this with good audio quality because it makes it a little bit more pleasurable of an experience.
Yeah, we finally figured those things out.
I, for one, preferred the DIY sound, but okay.
Well, we're going to go off on a small tangent here. Ron and I used to film this face to face, and it would be super sweaty. Ron would be extra smelly because it'd be after he worked out. And sometimes we would drink pre-workout before and we would just be talking super fast and it was not good. So being in separate states, not working out before, it's kind of worked out for our fans.
Yeah.
Well, the first 3 times you sent me this podcast to listen to, I just replied back, why do you keep sending me this podcast with such terrible audio? And then I figured out that it was you, and then I felt really bad.
Oh, you didn't have to say that on the show. But anyways, let's get to the rules of the game. Okay, so for listeners and for our contestants today, it's the Guess the Marvel Movies from Terrible Summaries. Okay, so the way that we're going to do this is your buzzer or your ringing is going to be your first name. No nicknames or baby names, first name. Example, Aaron is Aaron. Ron is Ron. Okay. We set?
That's a little bit of an advantage for me, though, because I have 2 less letters. So I'm going to hopefully use that to my...
Let me give you an example here of a terrible summary, okay? An example here would be father comes to get revenge and find wife. Which one is that? Anybody done answer in? Do you know it?
I'm not, because I'm stumped right now. And I'm not used to being stumped. I'm kind of a smart ass.
I think we'll have to cut that part out, but...
No, I'm leaving it. I'm going to extend that silence. Is that Shang-Chi?
There you go. Yeah. You guys even got the hint after. Okay, so you gentlemen ready?
Mm-hmm.
First one. Everyone wants to kill a guy who did nothing. Everyone wants to kill a guy who did nothing. First one. Getting a little sticky here.
Wow. I don't like this game. Ron, Infinity War.
No. Aaron, I'm going to give you 10 seconds.
Captain America.
Which one?
Ooh, Winter Soldier.
No.
OG Captain America.
You can't guess again. The answer is Captain America, Civil War. Everyone wants to kill a guy who did nothing. Winter Soldier, framed for blowing up the building and killing King of Wakanda.
So my thought process was right there, but I selected the wrong movie.
Correct. And
okay, I'm going to take a half point. Thanks.
No point. Next one. With these guys, remember that they're not going to be recycled. So you can cross off Captain America, Civil War off your checklist, okay?
Gotcha.
Next one here. Someone fights their date's dad. Someone fights their date's dad. Don't think too hard, gentlemen. They're terrible summaries.
Is that Infinity War?
Remember how you have to ring in.
Ron, is that Infinity War?
No. Stop guessing Infinity War.
Whatever, man. That's the only movie I've ever seen.
Aaron?
Let's hear it. What's your guess?
Endgame?
No. I thought you guys would be really good at this.
Dude, these summaries are even worse than promised.
I mean, Peter Quill does fight his girlfriend's dad in both those movies. So as much as I want to beat Ron, I feel like we both deserve a point.
Don't try to go back on this.
Technically both right.
The answer is Spider-Man Homecoming.
Oh, yeah, I guess
that's a much more obvious answer.
Yeah. No, like I said, don't think too hard into this. Okay, 2 done. No points for anybody.
I believe Aaron has 3/4 of a point.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Ron. Thank you.
Okay, don't be nice to each other either.
Shit,
Question 3. Rich guy gets kidnapped. Rich guy gets kidnapped.
Aaron.
What is it?
Iron Man.
Ooh, first one with the point. Good job. Good job. Took a while to get the hang of this game.
That was a nice underhand toss, but I'll take it.
Okay, question 4. Narcissist almost dies in a car. Narcissist.
Ron.
Go ahead.
Doctor Strange.
There we go.
There we go.
Now this has become a competition, and I like it.
You thought I was talking about the other day when I was trying to eat lunch and send texts and also listen to music at the same time and almost while drinking pre-workout and almost crashed, huh? But it wasn't about me.
Was not you. This is Marvel movies. Next one here. Family reunion takes down an organization. Family reunion takes down an organization.
Aaron.
Let's hear it.
Black Widow.
Woo! Getting spicy here.
Nice. That was a good one.
2 for Aaron, 1 for Ron. even though we're moving
Not
along.
the best Marvel movie, but I'll take the point.
Yes. Okay, next one here. 2 insects refuse to let someone save themselves from an incurable disease.
Ron,
Yes.
Ant-Man and the Wasp.
You got it. There we go.
That one was kind of a dead, like, that was not fair.
You had
That was
two
the
choices
easiest
there.
I
one.
think that was the only title that includes 2 insects.
Yeah.
You could have been not gotten that 2-part and just said Ant-Man. So I'm glad
You don't
we
want to
got
go
that
for
one.
Infinity War again there, Ron?
I'm gonna get it right. If you get when it is Infinity War, if you get it right, I quit.
I'm
You're the new
looking
co-host.
at the questions and the answers, and I'm excited for that when that one comes. Next one here for you guys. Group of friends fight their friend's dad.
Ron,
Let's hear it.
Guardians of the
Yeah.
Galaxy Volume 2.
There you go.
If this is the 1 syllable name came in advantage there.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
I knew it. And I have no idea how many points there are.
No nicknames or anything. Ron, you're at 3. Aaron, you're at 2. Close game still, and we're heating up here. You guys got the hang of it now. Old man reunites with his old friend who can't remember anything.
Ron,
Yes,
Winter Soldier.
I'll give it to you. Didn't say Captain America.
Well, you know what I mean.
I think
Oof.
we can give him that.
Shut up, Aaron.
I don't want to win like that.
Next question.
I like how
It's
we're
like,
supposed
it's like on Jeopardy when someone forgets to say what is. It's just that's not the way you want to get points.
right? And the most competitive person here is our fucking moderator.
I'm trying to keep it competitive. Okay. Next one for you guys. A man is really invested in collecting some glowing rock.
Ron. I did it. Infinity War. I did it.
Can I just make a bing sound instead of saying my name? I feel like I'm getting screwed here.
Yeah, just go.
Oh.
Bong. I did it. Oh my god, it felt so good.
Well,
He didn't officially give you the point, Ron. You can't celebrate yet.
Wait, did I have to say Avengers and Avengers
I'll
4
let you
colon
slide on that
Infinity-
one.
Bing, bing, bing.
we're at 5-2. Okay. Next one for you guys. Man acts out because he might die.
Bing.
Well, go ahead, Aaron.
Iron Man 2.
There you go. Back on the board.
That was vague as hell.
Terrible descriptions. Next one for you guys. Man steals something, then tries to unsteal it. Man steals something, then tries to unsteal it. Jogging the memory. Crossing off all the movies that have already been said.
Ron,
Let's hear it.
Infinity War.
Bing.
What? Aaron?
Guardians of the Galaxy.
No. The answer is Ant-Man.
What does he try to unsteal?
He had the suit. Remember he tries to return it?
Does he?
At the beginning, remember he
Whatever you
steals
say.
it, he goes small, and then he tries to...
Whatever you say.
Next one,
Where are we at point wise? I need to know.
5-3.
For the
Still pretty
record,
close.
I only signed on because I thought this was Avatar trivia.
Ooh, another Avatar fan.
Oh,
I
man.
thought I was coming on just for Tyler's stepdad to hold it down for the 3 people who like Avatar that listen to this show.
I did have to step in last minute. He came down with a hand injury in training and he wasn't able to make the fight tonight.
Well, I'm going to get to the next one here, but we can always talk about Avatar after. Man gets disowned and banished from his home.
Ron,
Bing.
Ron, go ahead.
Thor 1, the first Thor.
Ooh, Yep.
Everybody knows that's the full title of Thor.
Just Thor.
It's
Thor
Thor
1, the first Thor.
Don't forget about the colon. If you don't say it, Tyler doesn't give you the points.
You guys ready for the next one?
We're
Yes.
ready.
Regifting gone wrong. Regifting gone wrong.
Oh. Okay.
Jog that memory. Regifting gone wrong.
I don't even know what this could possibly pertain to.
When I explain,
Oh, Ron,
yes,
Spider-Man Far From Home.
there it is.
Oh,
See, once you get it, you get it.
I was gonna throw out like the last Thor movie, which everybody knows is the worst because I don't remember the plot line. There could have been regifting in there.
Not Ragnarok.
Ragnarok was amazing. The
Thor, the Dark Thor.
Fate.
Yeah, Dark World.
Yeah.
Dark World, Dark Elf, dark horrible movie.
You know, I'm gonna sound so smart when I cut out all the time I took thinking. I can't wait.
Next one for you guys. First hangout with friend group.
Ron.
Bing.
Ron.
Guardians 1?
No. Aaron.
Civil War.
No. Avengers. Next one. Family secrets come out. Family.
Bing.
Aaron.
Ragnarok.
There you go. I'll even give it to you.
Because you didn't say Thor :
Thor.
number
Ragnarok.
3 : Ragnarok.
Can't forget. Jeopardy would not have given you the points. Next one. Someone deals with symptoms of PTSD.
Ron.
Bing.
Ron.
Iron Man 3.
And the worst Iron Man. But that's just me saying that.
Yeah.
No, that's everybody saying that.
Well, but literally it was just him saying it. We didn't all say it at once.
I think this will probably be the fastest answer here. Scrawny boy problems.
Bing.
Aaron.
Captain America. The original Captain America.
You're pushing it. What's the actual?
Captain America. The first one? Don't fuck with me here.
Aaron. We have a very strict one F word policy on this podcast.
I figure you're gonna cut that out because I got the answer right.
Now we can't say the F word for the rest of the podcast. Thank you very much.
To be fair, I said it once on this and I said it once in our intro before we got on this call. But Tyler, don't be a dick, dude.
I'm aware of the F word policy on the show. You guys forget I'm an avid subscriber.
Aaron, I'll give it to you. First Avenger.
That's the full title. My deepest apologies.
Scoreboard right now. Ron 8. Aaron, you're at 5. Still in it.
I got to clean it up here.
We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more to go. Okay. Still tight
sweep.
Game here. Still neck and neck. Next one for you guys. Strangest friend group ever.
Ron.
Bing.
Ron.
Is that Guardians 1?
Great.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Looking pretty dark for me here.
Dude, I'm like Dolly Parton right now because it's 9 to 5.
Oh.
Okay. Amy.
Okay.
Yeah. I worked on that.
Don't forget, guys, they can't be reused. Mental checklist of which ones we've already gone through.
Not going to do that.
Technology, Fast Boy, and Weird Girl.
Ron.
Go ahead.
Age of Ultron. Avengers 2 : Age of Ultron.
Correct.
In what world is that a description of this movie?
Terrible in the title. Terrible descriptions. Terrible summaries.
I'd like to take this up with the good people at BuzzFeed.
Well, technically, and it's part of why we're doing this, is hopefully that they will give us some loving on it. So we'll connect you once that happens, and you can explain to them your frustrations, okay?
I appreciate that.
It has to be in listicle form, though. It's got to be 7 reasons why BuzzFeed makes bad lists.
Next one for you guys here. A trip through time.
Ron.
Bing.
Ron.
Endgame. Avengers 4 : Endgame.
And I'm going to say it's looking pretty bleak for you, but I'm going to be nice right here. And I'm going to do this next one is 3 points.
Oh,
yeah. Let's make it extra spicy.
3 points for this next one.
That's fair.
And it's going to be a quick one, too. Gentlemen, Angry Cousin.
Bing.
Aaron. You just pulled like a Jeopardy thing there, and you didn't even know the answer when you
I did. I was just clicking my buzzer hoping to get this, and now I'm struggling.
And this goes both ways. -3 points is definitely on the table for you, Aaron.
That rule was not established. I'm quitting the podcast. You've lost a subscriber.
Oh, man.
That's actually a real threat for us. Angry Cousin. Aaron, I'm going to start the timer now. 10 seconds. Angry Cousin.
Blade Trinity.
That's actually a good guess, but no. Ron?
Why is that a good guess?
I don't know. Trying to be nice.
I don't think that movie got the credit that it deserved, by the way.
I don't
Ryan
think
Reynolds hilarious in that.
I don't think anyone was anyone's cousin in that movie.
Probably the worst Blade. But go ahead,
real
Ron.
quick. Favorite thing about that movie. Wesley Snipes is fighting some vampires, right? He kills one, he kills another one. He looks towards the camera and he goes, "Some motherfuckers are always trying to
ice skate uphill.
And that's the coldest shit I've ever heard. And I think about it literally once a day.
I'm glad you guys do. Ron, do you have an answer for this?
Oh yeah, totally. I appreciate that Aaron knew that line too. Yeah, I totally know the answer. Obviously, I know the answer. I've definitely. I mean, come on, dude.
10
I know
seconds
the answer.
starting now.
I know, Tyler. I know the answer. You know, Infinity War. No,
Negative 3 points for each of you. Black Panther was the answer. Angry Cousin.
Wow,
that's that stings.
Ooh, that one we should have got.
Yeah,
someone should have got that.
I mean, that'd be really embarrassing if I was the co-host of a movie themed podcast.
But to be fair, I provided some entertainment in my attempt to stall.
2 more here, gentlemen. Let's finish this out. Here we go. This one is probably the worst one for you guys, not for me. Probably my favorite. Strange Cat.
Bing.
Aaron.
Captain Marvel.
There you go. This one was not worth 3 points, though.
Wow, I forgot about that.
So last one here. This one is for all the marbles.
Is it though?
10 points.
I'm surprised that Tyler didn't up the ante for the cat themed question.
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't looking ahead for it. I'll be honest. I wasn't looking ahead, but with this last question, 10 points.
Well, failing to prepare, Tyler, is oftentimes the same thing as preparing to fail. So keep that in your back pocket, big guy.
Be ready for this, Ron.
Gotcha.
Magic cell time.
Ron.
Yes.
Spider-Man, No Way Home.
Negative 10 points.
What?
Aaron, do you have a guess for 10 points and to win the competition?
Can you repeat the description?
Magic cell time. 10 seconds.
Can I have the language of origin, please?
Marvel.
Use that in a sentence.
10 seconds are done. Give me an answer. I'll give you one more hint that we already talked about this movie.
What?
And a sentence would be Loki sits in a magic cell.
How bad do you want me to lose? That's not fair. Let me guess again.
You both lose. Thor the Dark World.
Thor the Dark Thor.
Oh, no.
I win the game.
Yeah, there was
nobody remembers anything from that movie. We just wiped it from our memories.
And also that scene is redone in Endgame, so it technically doesn't even cover that. So the question didn't count.
Well, you can't reuse them. That was part of the rules. So if anybody wanted to know, I won the game. They both lost. Aaron, thank you for coming on the podcast and dealing with Ron. As you being a listener, an avid listener, you know what it is sometimes. Now, or I'll say now you know what it's like to speak with Ron in a Zoom call, and we thank you for it. Thank you for listening.
Hey, it was a pleasure to be on the show. Maybe next time bring me on for something a little more in my wheelhouse. I'm more of a B-list horror kind of guy or intentionally bad movies.
You could have said that you're a medical doctor too, but in that realm.
If you have any gynecology themed questions, I'm happy to ask them, but I don't think this is the right forum for that.
we sometimes expand into other topics, but
just for all the listeners, this podcast is not medical advice. Also, tune in next time when Aaron and I discuss The Room.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh man, all right, that was fun. Thank you again to Aaron for coming on. I'm sorry that I beat the living shit out of you, and I don't know if anybody caught that, but he was mathematically eliminated about 10 minutes into that. But I appreciate Tyler for making it competitive, and for some behind the scenes info. In between questions, we take a little break, and Tyler was by far the most competitive individual. He was so mad that we were chit chatting between questions and between cutting off our interview. Tyler was like, "You guys got to be enemies," and I just don't get it. This guy hates his friends.
That's exactly it.
That's exactly it. We also had to take a cat break, which is where all that talking went on. So Tyler, what's coming up next for us today?
Before we jump into our main set, which we're going to talk about Red Notice, it's our time to make our episode plug. If you have not checked out our last episode, we reviewed Black Widow. We tried to give, I'll say that's a more honest answer for there. We tried to give an honest review of Black Widow. We, of course, had a skit in there, which you got to check out. And as we put in every episode, weekly news about what's going on in the industry, anything that we saw that we thought would be interesting, and then Ron's feedback on it. So check that out. In the description, we will have a link to our last episode as well as the link to our first back day. Ron's working on a new one, so we'll hopefully have that in there eventually, but check those out. As we move into now our main set, we're all warmed. We got our skit. We got our warm-up. We're going to be talking about Red Notice. Red Notice. Yes. Red Notice was a movie that came out on Netflix, direct to Netflix, directed by Rawson Marshall Thurber. So doing a little research with this one, I was actually impressed. I didn't know other movies that he did. I didn't even know he was a part of some of these. And he's got an impressive resume in that realm, the comedy realm. Yeah. Of course, he did some Uncle DJ films, Skyscraper, Central Intelligence, but he also did We're the Millers and Dodgeball. So,
some solid movies in there.
Yeah, I will say that he seems like one of the guys that Dwayne Johnson just trusts. Like he trusts them, and he knows that he's going to put out something decent. I feel like he just has like his group of people that he goes to for certain things, and if it comes up, he's like, hey, I got this movie with Kevin Hart, or I got this movie with whoever that he's Ryan Reynolds. Let's do it. And he just grabs one of his many directors that he just knows is going to work with him and that it's not going to be a pain for him.
And I think there's something cool about that when you have people you know are going to deliver, especially for this kind of movie where not to get into a review or anything like that or in any negative way. It's a popcorn movie. It's a fun movie. You're not going into it for some incredible dramatic performances or some life-changing moments of emotional clarity. But, when you're putting together big entertainment, big popcorn films, when you have a crew works, you stick to it. Yeah. That's a preview of my review there. And Tyler mentioned it's Uncle DJ. So the cast is led by Dwayne the Jock Johnson. What is this guy's name? I've never heard it before.
The most liked man in the world. That's who it is.
Dwayne the Jock Johnson. Our female lead is Gal Gadot, who everybody may know as Wonder Woman. And our third lead or second lead, depending on how you're billing them, I don't know who got paid the most, is Brian Reynolds. He played a guy named Death Pole, and he also owns a soccer club. So that's fun. He owns a gin company, and a little known fact, he drinks the gin in the scene where he gets arrested.
Does he really own a gin company?
Yeah, he owns a gin company called Aviation Gin. I think he actually just sold it for like $400 million. But this is like way ahead of the movie, but it's fine. It's in the beginning. There's a scene where he's getting in his house and he's pouring gin, and you see the back of a bottle, and he has a very distinct bottle. And then it cuts to the other side, and you see the logo nice and big. And there's a scene where The Rock is getting questioned by somebody, and he's asked for some tequila, and they hand him label side out some Terramana Anejo. Anyway, so the premise is that an Interpol agent played by Dwayne, whoever that is, tracks down the world's second most wanted art thief in order to stop a big art plan, and craziness ensues. Some double crosses, some triple crosses, some adventures, some scrapes and scraps, and all kinds of fun shit happens. And that is my premise. I kind of already gave a little bit of a spoiler-free review, but do you have anything spoiler-free to say about this, LT Gray?
I actually wrote almost like the same exact thing for my spoiler-free review, is that it's a fun movie. It's not something that you're like, oh, wow, that's the most realistic spy movie ever. Or, oh, wow, like so cool. Or like, oh, wow, what an amazing story that they wrote for it. It's just fun. It's fun to watch. It's definitely entertaining to pop in on a Friday with friends or family, and you'll get something out of it that just makes you happy. You laugh, and the way that all three of them interact with each other, I'm happy. I was actually the one I was more nervous about was Gal Gadot. Don't get me wrong. I was actually worried to see how she would interact. I feel like she doesn't do too much comedy. And
I haven't seen her in a lot of stuff either. So
yeah, I was very pleasantly surprised. I thought she was actually funny, and that it worked well with all of them. Just how they all interacted on screen.
I agree. They had exceptional chemistry. And what I did like, and I'll talk about this with another thing I'm watching, is that it's kind of, sure, there's a lot of comedy in it, but it's unapologetically a big fun like adventure movie. It's kind of like another movie The Rock recently did, Jungle Cruise, or like The Mummy with Brendan Fraser, where it's not making fun of itself. Like they make fun of each other and they have jokes in it, but it's kind of unabashedly, unapologetically just a big fun movie. Yeah. And for a while, because of the popularity of the MCU, and we talked about popularity of Deadpool, everybody wanted to make their big dumb movies, but then hang a lampshade on it and be like, oh, how stupid is this thing we're doing? Like, can you believe the world is exploding? That's so dumb. Like, I get the ironic detachment is it helps you to not feel like a silly goose. But for these kind of movies, the whole point is to be a silly goose. It's to have fun. So that's my favorite thing about this movie is they had great chemistry and they didn't try to play it like they were too cool for the movie they were doing.
Yeah, I think you're onto something with about different genres and what I feel like The Rock is doing. Jumanji, Jungle Cruise, Red Notice, adventure. It's just fun to watch, just to put on. They go across the globe, in theory, and they just do funny stuff. I think that is something that you didn't think about until like, okay, what movies has he done? But he's got his friends that he puts in this, and you even watching this, you just see people that were in other movies with him, and they're just entertaining. I think that's what we're trying to get at. One
of the things I've heard people review it like, oh, it's not a groundbreaking movie. It was fun. It was, I would say it's a good movie, but it wasn't like great or, mind blowing. Yeah. But so people were kind of like criticizing, oh, how did it get all these watch hours? Who's watching it this much? Well, because it's just that it's fun. So you can throw it on, like you said, if you have people come over, hey, you want to watch this movie? And we can get up and grab a beer and talk. And if I miss 3 or 4 minutes I get it. They moved in the jungle now because they're shooting at people, or, you can not as a takeaway from the movie, but you can half watch it and still enjoy the movie. And then you could throw it on again a couple days later. If someone's like, oh, I haven't seen that, throw it on, chit chat during it. And I think that is part of probably the purposeful business model of why you're making adventure movies, because they're rewatchable. They're fun. You're not going to ruin your day. Like say watching, something that's like very emotionally taxing. Cause there are some movies that are enormously wonderfully acted, but you can't watch them again because you cried the whole time. So there's something cool about that. And then the other thing that I wanted to speak to that you mentioned is them going all over the world. In theory, I thought they did a really good job of hiding that they filmed this during the pandemic all indoors. Like it looked good.
Yeah.
So I think that's our spoiler-free review, Tyler. Do you want to give some spoilers? I think
I don't want to ruin the end because I feel like this is a movie that a lot of people can tune into. And one of my spoilers does do that. So I'm not going to talk about that.
Yeah, I agree. I think just like with Scream, when they're adventure movies or they're horror movies where the fun is the ride and like the point is that last giveaway, because this movie is about, this cat and mouse game. You don't want to know how it ends. It's the whole point of the movie. I think it's one of those ones that we can go watch it. I mean, it's on Netflix. Go have fun with it. I would recommend watching it. Like I said, you can throw it on, have a good time. Throw it on, play on your phone. You'll still have enjoyed the time. What about you, Tyler?
Samesies.
Wow. Detailed review. You know what? Sometimes when people talk about movies like this and they down it for not being high art, it makes me just go, what the man? And that makes me think like, Tyler, what's a moment from this week that made you say WTF?
Oh, WTF moment. This is a good one. Oh, I saved this one for 2 weeks. I literally sat on it. And because I had to do my rant about AMC a couple weeks ago and how mad they made me. And still, they got their extra $20 out of me, and hope that helps them with staying in business. And hopefully when they do go bankrupt, I can laugh at them on Twitter because it's funny. But my WTF moment came from 3 weeks ago. I'm one of those people that I just pop movies on and I work. I usually don't watch the whole thing. It's not like I'm paying attention to it. Red Notice is a good example of this, something you could do with it. But I would just pop movies on or even a show and I work, or even when I'm laying in bed. It's not like I'm trying to fully entrench myself into a movie. But I turned on a movie for somebody that we've joked about, Ridley Scott. So a movie from Ridley Scott that really made me laugh was Body of Lies. And if you haven't seen it, it's an okay watch. It's a movie that you're not going to be like, oh, wow, like what an amazing espionage movie. And I know we just talked about one of those, but the thing that caught my eye that really was something that Ronald and I have talked about just a little bit is about representation within Hollywood and casting people that are technically from that ethnicity or background. So in this, 2 British people are playing Middle Eastern. Mark Strong, he plays a Middle Eastern gentleman by the name of Hani, and another one in it is, let me see, I'm looking at the cast right here. Oh man, where is he? Oscar Isaac. I believe Ronald has shared that Oscar Isaac is of Hispanic heritage, correct?
Yep. Yes, sir. And
he is playing another Middle Eastern gentleman in this movie. So is there no Middle Eastern actors? I believe this was part of somebody's speech at a recent Academy Awards, Rami Malek, and talking about representation and how important that is, that you cast people from that background. For someone that speaks out about the films being made, about Hollywood, and to go back, when did this movie come out? I got to see this. 2008, not that long ago, and see 2 British, or 1 British, 1 Hispanic gentleman, not even playing something relatively close to that. It just blew my mind. This is funny because
Oscar Isaac is from Guatemala.
There we go. So 2 actors, not even close to being Middle Eastern, and come on, do the work, cast people that will depict it, and maybe that goes to why this movie is not one of the best espionage movies. I know that when I saw it, I remember I turned around because Ron and I like to joke about this stuff. I turned around and I was like, "That's Mark Strong. He's British.
He's not British as hell.
He is not Middle Eastern. Why is he playing that role? Even though I've already seen this movie 2 times, maybe I've just put it on before. So that is my WTF moment. Ridley Scott." Talk trash on millennials. Keep doing it. You put out 3 movies a year. You have money. Go away. Actually, don't go away. I like your movies.
I agree, though. I think it's not the hardest thing in the world to just cast somebody who represents what they're trying to play. And obviously, there is leeway. Like sometimes you want to have the best actor. So if somebody is supposed to be 7 feet tall and you got to cast a 6 foot tall actor, there's some stuff that there's leeway on. But there's not really an excuse for just blatantly ignoring it or just leaving people out when it's, for some groups, it's a rare opportunity to be seen in a film. So to just not even try for the most part, because if it's news out there to everybody, millions and millions of people in the world want to be actors, right?
Yeah.
People want to be in the film industry. So even if it's the one break for this person, there is a person who can deliver on the job and represent what you're trying to look for. And it's important.
Yeah.
And I think Tyler and I both know that because we talked about this off the podcast, and Tyler has mentioned this, I think, in our review of Shang-Chi, but how a movie like that for him and his Asian heritage, it makes you feel something. It does change the way you feel to see yourself or people like you represented.
Yeah, my doppelganger.
Yeah, he does. Tyler is definitely more jacked Simu Liu. They look a lot alike. You guys have that kind face, man. I'll keep saying it. It watching that movie does give you great outfit inspiration, right?
Yeah, I did say that walking out was that I did feel good about my Asian heritage, and you don't get that type of feeling. I said that in the podcast, but Simu Liu, despite being a different type of Asian, I don't know how it happened. Somehow we look similar. And
yeah, that's part of the reason why I'm so looking forward to the Blue Beetle series. Because it'll be our first, Hispanic-led
there we go
superhero feature, and it's directed by a Puerto Rican man. It's starring Xolo Maridueña from Cobra Kai, who's of Mexican descent. So that'll be cool. And then that's why I'm a big fan of. I literally only watched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. for the episodes that had Ghost Rider, because they were using the Robbie Reyes Ghost Rider, who's played by Gabriel Luna, a man of Mexican descent as well. It's important. It means a lot to me to see that.
Yeah. Good
so
points.
anyway, we got a little deep there, guys, but once you get deep, it's important to cool off. So for our cool offs, Tyler, what are you watching? How are we going to cool down today?
Well, what's funny is if anybody listen to a podcast, they typically do notes. And my first note on here was that I was falling behind on Euphoria, but we actually caught up on that last night. So I'm all caught up on Euphoria, if anybody was wondering. And then the second one on here too, I've already checked this off. I had put how I'm almost done watching Love. We already finished watching all 3 seasons of Love.
I'm a little mad at you for that because of our last episode. My wife was like, I love that show. I'm rewatching it. So now nice. I have to hear Love from the other room while I'm working on the computer.
Well, the funny part about Love, and I totally get what you said in the last episode. And to me, I just honestly felt like it was kind of like a bad accident, a show like almost like Shameless. If you've watched Shameless before, like you hate all the characters. I hate both of the main characters. Like both of them, I'm not a big fan of.
See, I told you get there, right?
And there's just so many scenes that are cringeworthy, but it's just like a bad accident where you just have to watch. And like, I think for us, like it got to a point where we were so deep into this 3-season show that we just had to watch it. We just had to finish it.
There's no going back. It's easier to swim to the other side than to swim back.
Yeah. I mean, in this show too, there's like major plot holes. Like they just like they just like miss key points. They're like, wait, what? How? I thought they were making a show. What? Like, how did that? But yeah, that's what happens when you go down a rabbit hole and watch some random show on Netflix, and all of a sudden you're three seasons deep and done.
Yep. Sometimes you stick your arm down a love hole and you can't pull it back out. Ooh. There are a couple of things that both of us are watching that we'll cover down the line. There's been another episode of Peacemaker. That season is going to be ending soon. So anybody who's looking for our in-depth review, it'll be in a couple weeks, the week after the series is over or the season's over. I think the season finale of Book of Boba Fett just aired this week. I am behind on that. So that'll
I've already watched it.
Tyler has seen it. We've been holding off on discussing it. So I want to catch up on that. So if anybody's worried, yes, we will get to those shows. Tyler, is there anything else you're watching?
No, you convinced me not to do my last piece. I wasn't to talk about Star Wars. And since you are not caught up, I can't actually say what I wanted to in this.
Thank you. Save it for the week we review Boba Fett.
Yeah, dang it. It's good. But, and it's relevant to what's going on right now on like Twitter and like Star Wars, but we'll save it.
We'll circle back.
Yeah.
As far as what I'm watching, I discussed this earlier about, you watch an Oscar nominated movie and sometimes it's unfortunately something that you cannot bear to finish. It's nice when it's on Amazon or HBO Max and you can just go click and go watch a YouTube video about, I don't know, guys being weird on Tinder or whatever. So the movie I was discussing is a movie that I was very upset that I didn't like, and that's Nightmare Alley.
Ooh.
It's the latest Guillermo del Toro movie, and I'm not saying it's a bad movie because it's well made. It's well acted. I can just say that I didn't love it, The thing that bothered me the most was that it's 3 hours.
Oh,
the entire first hour takes place at a carnival, which is what you see in all the trailers. Looks like it's weird, maybe magical, like evil carnival. No magic, no evil. Spoiler alert. It just, the whole first hour happens at this creepy carnival. There's nothing magical at all, nothing like sinister happening. It just shows how Bradley Cooper's character learns how to be like a fake stage magician. Learns how to be a fake stage magician.
Mm-hmm.
And then at like the hour 10 mark, it cuts forward 2 years and then the plot starts because the whole plot is him being a stage magician and a mentalist who's using it on high powered people in the city. And it might come back to bite him in the butt, but I don't know because I only watched an hour of that portion of the movie and just said, screw it. I'm tired. And I turned it off. So I think it was just weirdly paced. There was a lot of good ideas going on that I wanted to know more about. But I kind of felt like I got screwed over because I got all invested in this carnival. And then they just go, 2 years later, he's in a different town. So
what?
Yeah. If you watch it, text me, Tyler. Text me users too, our listeners. Text me listeners. My phone number is 281-330-8004. Hit Ron up on the low because Ron is about to blow. Another thing I watched is I finished the aforementioned Just Like That on HBO Max. And Tyler, I got to tell you, dude. It's so...
Stop it.
I'm just kidding.
Stop it.
It kind of ends on a harumph. It's as good as it was the whole time. A bunch of random shit happens that was not foreshadowed at all.
Mm-hmm.
And it was infuriating.
Interesting.
Now I'll get to two things I'm watching that I really did like. So the first is Tommy and Pam on Hulu. It's about the whole drama surrounding the Tommy Lee and Pamela Anderson sex tape. And it's honestly a really good show. It's produced by Seth Rogen and his crew.
Yeah.
Seth Rogen's one of the main characters. Lily James plays Pamela Anderson, and her prosthetics make her look just like her. It's incredible. And then Sebastian Stan, the Winter Soldier, we talked about multiple times today. He plays Tommy Lee, and it's a really good show. Like, it's, even though we all, for the most part, we remember that kind of happening in the ether when we're younger. We know what ends up happening, but it's really cool to find out just things about the relationship. I think it's shot cool. It's not overly stylized. I know Tyler hates that, but there, you know what? I'll save it for next week. There is a moment in the show I want to talk about. I'll save it for next week.
Good. I do want to watch that.
Okay. Watch a couple episodes and we'll talk about it next week. But yeah, I recommend it. It's super well acted. It's engrossing. It's fun. And again, it's on Hulu, so you can watch it in parts, whatever you got to do. My last one is Reacher on Amazon. Have you started watching that?
I've actually heard positive things about that.
Yes.
And it looks so bad, but I've heard positive things.
So let me tell you a little bit about it. So anybody unfamiliar, Reacher is based on the book series by Lee Childs. There are 27 books. Apparently it is like the third best-selling book series of all time in the whole world. There were 2 movies in the late 2000s, early 2010s, starring Tom Cruise. And they were fun. They were fun action movies. But one of the things that is mentioned in the movies and is a big plot point in the books is that Reacher is massive. So it was a little, people were mad that Tom Cruise, obviously wonderful actor, fit man, very capable. But there's part in one of the movies where they're like, hey, you drifted into this town and people started turning up dead. And this guy was killed with one punch. The only man I've ever seen strong enough to kill a guy with one punch is him. And they pan over to Tom Cruise. And I'm like, okay. So anyhow, this reboot stars Alan Richardson, who you might know from Blue Mountain State or Titans. And Alan Richardson is legitimately 6'2", 235-pound guy. So they put him in slightly bigger shoes because Reacher's supposed to be 6'5", but they frame him up. They put him in bigger shoes, and he is legitimately physically imposing and looks like a guy who could kick some ass. But the trailers looked like, okay, might be a little kitschy, but this is what I was talking about with the Rock stuff, that it is unapologetically one of those kind of old school action shows where this guy is the most badass guy in the entire universe. And he's the best detective and he's kind of the best at everything, but it's fun. It's not like it's not embarrassed to be just a badass, fun action show. Like a little microcosm that I explained to my wife about what, because she's like, what are you over there like laughing for? I was like, it's so over the top, but grounded. It's fun. Like some guys try to beat him up and they're like, we need to talk to you, Reacher. And he goes, no, you don't want to talk to me. And they're like, what? And they go to punch him and he headbutts the guy's hand and breaks it.
Hell yeah. And
then he just beats the shit out of the 4 dudes. But you're like, that was badass. It's good workout material because Alan Richardson is jacked. So I think you'd like it, Tyler.
I dig it. I just want to quickly go back to Nightmare Alley because I feel like you're explaining something that we talked about in our first iteration of the podcast. That was, I don't know if we recorded it, but when Aaron made fun of the audio in our first version of the podcast. But we did, I believe, do Oscar noms, and I know personally I didn't like Shape of Water, and I just feel like it got so much credit. So many people liked it, and I remember I mentioned in that episode how Oscar noms and even the people that win Oscar, that it's mostly just who these people like. It's like they're friends. Like in one version of my life, I used to train people, and I trained somebody that her husband was a director, and he was a voting member, and she told me like he doesn't watch any of the movies. They just vote for their friends and who they like. So movies that people do like or that are good. Like I didn't think Shape of Water was like life changing or anything like that. It was a well-made movie. I said that. I believe in that episode. But I feel like you're saying the same things that we said about Shape of Water from years ago. Yeah,
it's where it's like the clout behind the director and the people involved is almost more important than the movie itself sometimes,
Yeah. What is that? What was that like 3-hour movie that came out on Netflix from
The Irishman?
Yeah.
4-hour movie.
Oh my goodness, painful.
Martin Scorsese.
I think it took me like 5 times to finish it.
It was just awkward in the de-age scenes because the de-aging looked good, but he still moved like an 80-year-old man.
Yeah.
That's it for what we've been watching. The last thing we want to talk about today is our post-workout takeaway. Tyler, do you have any takeaways for us?
I do. And I have to give credit for this one because I didn't come up with it. It was actually my wife that came up with it. So here's my shout out to my wife. And she saw this one. I forgot where she saw it, but it's a good one. It's talking about home life, work life, about how success isn't guaranteed. You're never guaranteed that you're going to be successful or you're going to get whatever your goals are in work or in life. But with working out, remember, this is a fitness podcast.
There is, first and foremost.
With working out, results are as close as they can get to being guaranteed. If you put the work in, you put the effort in, you're going to see results. Sometimes the results might not be 100% what you wanted. If you have a weight goal, because those are super tough. But if you're trying to lift a certain weight or you want to get toned or things along those nature, you're going to get as close as you can to a guarantee. So stay consistent and stay positive.
Totally agreed, man. And I got to say, that's one of the things that I like most about fitness is that it's one of the truly fair things in the world, right?
Yep.
You can't control the upper limit of your genetics, sure. But besides that, you only get out what you put in. And like you said, man, that's a really empowering thing. And I think it doesn't, for me, I don't think people should really worry about any goal that they don't feel in and of themselves, right? Like you said, if you have a weight goal, that's awesome. Do it for you. But I think the thing that people that don't work out, that you might want to give it a try just to take into your own hands, your own results. It's one of the few things in life that you can truly control, that effort that you give will be given back to you by your results. And I think that's really awesome. So Tyler, great takeaway today.
Thank you.
Oh, well, thank you, Tyler, for being here. And thank you, Aaron, again, for being our guest today. And next time I'll take him up on Harry Potter and he can just pummel me into submission. We'll take him up on the Harry Potter trivia and he can pummel me with a major victory there over me. But anyway, thank you to all our listeners for checking this out. We know you could have done anything with this time and you could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us and we appreciate that. Please be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at MovieBuffs_podcast. And if you like this episode, give it a share. And if you really like this episode, do me a favor, burn it onto a CD. Take that CD, put it in a little white paper thing and put super hot fire on the front and hand it out at Venice Beach Boardwalk. If you do that, I'll give you $5. Thank you so much. Tune in next week when we eat a bunch of lemons and see who makes a face first. Okay, everybody, stay buff. Bye.
Feeling inspired by hosts Ron and Tyler to work on your health? The MovieBuffs Podcast is brought to you by Time to Train Fitness. Use the link in the description to view all of the membership options and to start a free 5-day trial. Get ready to press play on your next workout.